Hey guys, this is Austin. Today I'm here in Berlin at IFA 2018 for one reason and one reason only, to see exactly what LG has been cooking up. A little hint, it's very loud and it's got a whole lot of OLEDs. So LG sponsored our trip out here to take a look at some of the cool stuff they've got in the booth, including the OLED Canyon. This is over 200 OLED TVs that are all put together in a, well, pretty crazy setup. I mean, come on, seriously, this is ridiculous. I mean, I can barely see the pixels. Definitely the highlight this year, though, is going to be LG's ThinQ initiative. And if you think about it, LG makes a ton of different products, right? They make TVs, they make phones, they make speakers, they make appliances. There's a lot there. And with ThinQ, all of it can actually talk to each other and be actually smart. Now, I'm sure you've heard this many, many times, but LG is one of the very few companies who legitimately makes almost all of this stuff. So if they can get all of it to work together, as we're about to see, could be pretty cool. Nothing shows this off better than the InstaView ThinQ. Now obviously this is going to be a very high-end refrigerator is with, well, a screen, as you can see, but it also does have Alexa built in. So if I say, Alexa, what's the weather in Berlin?
Right now in Berlin, Germany, it's 20 degrees Celsius with mostly sunny skies. Tonight's forecast has clouds, with a low of 11 degrees.
This should give you a good idea of what ThinQ is capable of. When all of the devices in your home are all talking together, it can make a big difference to what you can actually do. Plus, you have cool stuff like that. I mean, come on, it's a transparent screen on your fridge. I'm easily amused by these things. The fun doesn't stop there either. So because so many things here at the booth are connected via ThinQ, I can do some fun stuff like this. Hey Google, talk to Natutsi.
How can I help you?
I like to watch TV. Yeah, there we go. Well, yes, I could have reclined myself like a normal person and used the remote to turn on the TV, but this does a good job of showing just how ThinQ can legitimately make a lot of things automated and a lot of things a lot easier. Play Austin Evans videos on YouTube. My friends, this is definitely the future. Well, okay, maybe not watching my own videos is the future, but you can imagine that with ThinQ on board, your entire house could be connected and you can do all kinds of really interesting things just using purely the power of your voice and a lot of technology. But, you know, it seems like it's just your voice. So you guys know I love myself some LG monitors, and I actually have a brand new line here at IFA. So known as Ultra Gear, they're pretty much all aimed at being very high refresh rate and very much focused on gaming. The wonderfully named 27GK750F, aka a super high refresh rate monitor, I can't even do it with a straight face. But it will run at a full 240 frames per second. My favorite of the new Ultra Gear monitors is the 34GK950G. Don't worry, I'm not gonna remember that. It's the new ultra wide. So not only is this going to be a little bit of an update as far as the actual screen and whatnot, it does look pretty nice that it has an IPS display. It's definitely going to look a little bit better than the other monitors, but we're still going to be getting a full 100 Hertz, 120 if you want to overclock it, and you do get that 3440 by 1440p res. Now, this guy I think is a little bit more interesting, mostly just because you're going to be getting the extra frame rate without sacrificing resolution or screen quality, but all three of these monitors do look interesting, and they'll be on sale at some point, right? I'm getting a nod that they will be on sale indeed at some point. You're probably familiar with the LG G7 ThinQ. It's been out for a couple months now, and it's about as high-end as a flagship gets, but today at IFA, they've announced a couple of other additions to the G7 lineup, starting with the G7 One. This is going to be a slight downgrade as far as some features, so you're going to be losing like the dual cameras, it's going to have a slightly different design, but what you're going to be gaining is Android One. So as opposed to running LG's skin with all of their software, instead you're getting a very pixel-like experience here, which personally I actually am kind of a fan of. And importantly, this should be cheaper. We don't have an actual price just yet, but considering that they've downgraded a couple of the hardware things, such as the Snapdragon 845 to an 835, while still keeping a lot of the other stuff like the screen and whatnot available, hopefully this is going to be a pretty interesting phone. Behind me is one of the more interesting things of the show, an 88-inch 8K OLED TV. Or at least, it used to be behind me. They've switched it out with a 4K OLED, but I got to take a look at the real 8K yesterday and it looks phenomenal. So first of all, this is going to be the very first 8K TV that LG has done, and the very first time that someone's been able to do 8K with OLED, which obviously OLED, if you guys aren't familiar, is like the best way of doing TVs. I'm not even like saying that in like a biased way. I mean, like OLED just looks really, really nice. But the idea that you're going to be getting a full 8K picture means that while, yes, there's very little 8K content out there, if you're able to find some, it's going to look terrific, and it will, of course, upscale 1080p and 4K stuff to 8K. So if you want the biggest and baddest OLED TV you could possibly imagine, this is actually going to be going on sale soon. Now, we don't have an exact price or release date just yet, but LG says that this is going to be production ready, and, well, it's going to be expensive. But, you know, an 8K OLED TV that's the size of your wall Sounds pretty good to me.